Welcome to ETW with Coach and Kandi. I am Coach Thomas.
And I'm Kandi Knight, and this is our behind the scenes look for our Expect to Win Experience TV show, where we talk about the show and you learn a little bit about your host.
All right. So, Kandi, what did you think about tonight's wonderful episode? I
Oh,
think that
tonight's
tells what I
show,
thought.
right? Tonight's show was awesome. I mean, first we spoke to Jaden Spearman from Huff High School in North Carolina about his experience in football, and then we spoke to David D. Rob Robinson, President and CEO of D. Rob Sports and Fitness Training. And he gave us a few stories and a few tips as far as training with athletes, and just an awesome show. So if you haven't had a chance to watch it, go back and check it out. Great information, great tips. We had a great time. We had a great
We,
time.
we did, and we this is our fourth show, and we've had. I mean, every guest on every show has been informative.
Hmm.
They've been professionals. They've been, really at the top of what they do. And so we only can get better from here. And I really, I was so impressed with Jaden, you know, to be as young as he was. I watched him doing when we were interviewing D Rob,
Hmm.
and I looked and I because I wanted to see. I always watch the young people to see if they're listening to what the pro is saying, and he was listening intently. I mean, he was focused on what D Rob was saying, and so I was so impressed with that young man, and I know that there's a lot of great things in his future,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
he's
then
destined.
to have somebody the caliber of a D Rob, a David D Rob Robinson, and all of the athletes he's training. We're doing it, Kandi. This is a good
Yeah.
show.
It's awesome. And I mean, he mentioned that he's got a lot of first draft picks in the NFL. And so hopefully, he'll send some our way and we'll chat with them and the show will just continue on. But awesome, awesome show. We even had a bonus guest there at the end. A little surprise for Jaden. His big brother came on. So shout out to Ike Spearman. Thanks for joining us for that quick moment and giving a few words of encouragement or telling your brother that you're so proud of him. We're proud of you guys. So
Yeah,
keep going
exactly.
for sure.
And
Keep
and,
going.
and things like that go so far. You know, it may have only been a few words, but the fact that his brother thought enough of him to come on and say, he wanted to surprise him, and that's something that Jaden is probably going to remember all his life. You know,
Yeah,
my
he
brother,
did.
and then he gave us an awesome compliment.
He did. He said that this has been well, our show tonight was his favorite interview, and he's been interviewed quite a bit, and that's an awesome compliment to get. Yeah. So we're just gonna keep going. So my question to you is, who could come on the show and surprise you in the same way that we surprised Jaden tonight? Maybe not a sibling, but who would shock you and give you great words of encouragement to boost your show?
Wow. Uh, oh, well, you kind of got me with that one. Uh, wow, Candy, who could come on and surprise me? Um, well, God, this is bad. But I have a niece who's a therapist,
Hmm.
and she said I have an unhealthy obsession with Halle Berry. So,
Uh-oh. Shout out to Hallie, Miss Berry.
so yeah, if Halle Berry came on the show, I probably would pass out.
Oh my.
But my,
Well,
my
I would be a
niece
little
said, yeah,
starstruck too.
yeah. she said, yeah, that you have. She said, Uncle, you have a very unhealthy obsession with Halle Berry. Well, let me pose the same question to you, Kandi. Who would surprise you? What would just totally blow you away?
You, as far as a celebrity guest, I'm thinking because I was thinking
Anybody, can be
more.
anybody.
Hmm,
Because
I would
you've
have.
interviewed a lot of celebrities.
I've interviewed quite a few, yeah, coming from a radio background, but I will say the reason why I got into media, the reason why I got into communication was because of a local news anchor I saw growing up, and her name
Hmm.
is Kimberly Essex. And so I remember being in high school and seeing her on the news, and I was like, oh, I can do that. She's a pretty, African American woman. She's got it going on. So I remember my senior year, I wrote her an email, just kind of like getting tips of advice. I want to follow in your footsteps. What can I do to be successful? And she wrote me back. And
Wow.
that's the reason why I got into media. And so, hindsight, it just turns out, I think the last year or two, I reached out to her and asked her if she'd be my mentor. And she
Okay.
accepted. And
Wow.
she said, I saw something in you. And I should have, she's no longer on television. She's gone into real estate now.
Okay.
But she said, I saw something in you and I should have reached out. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm fanning out because you're like the inspiration for my career so far. So I think if Kim Essex came on, I mean, I would probably just be all over the place because she has been such a huge key component in who I am as far as media is concerned today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And aside from the Halle Berry thing, I've been blessed to interview and meet so many celebrities because of my magazine,
Mm-hmm.
Black in the magazine and the newspaper. But I know I always wanted to meet, and I never got a chance to meet Bob Johnson.
Mm.
Not Bob. Bob Johnson is one. He's one that I wanted to meet that started BED, and then Earl
Mm-hmm.
Graves at Black Enterprise. I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to meet Earl Graves, and I actually spoke at a Black Enterprise conference in Florida one year, and I saw him, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. He was like walking,
Mm.
he was like 6 feet, 5, and you see him over
Wow.
everything. And but I couldn't get to him in time to talk to him, but because I love the magazine business. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it is. I remember when Black Entertainment Magazine got picked up by a distributor. I mean, I can't even tell you the
That's
joy.
big.
I could not. And what's funny, it's when I start talking about this stuff, I think about how weird, how some of the stuff that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me the list because social media wasn't big then and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me the list, and I got the list, and I went to pick the list up, and their office was in Beverly Hills, the
Mm-hmm.
distributor. So the closest store that was carrying it was the uh, Hustler had a store on Sunset.
Mm-hmm.
The magazine, Larry Flint and the Porno and all of that
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
But they were selling Black Entertainment Magazine
Wow.
right there on. So I was like, I don't care. I want to see my magazine on the shelf.
Hey,
So
no
I
judgment here.
rolled up. I rolled up in the hustler. they like, can we help you, sir? They got all of the whips and chains and you know.
Wow.
And I said, I want a copy of Black Entertainment Magazine. And she said, well, I don't know. Is that a new magazine? She said, well, let's look over here and see. And Kandi, when I saw my magazine, I could have cried.
Aw,
I could have
that
cried.
you had to
So
have been so proud. Yeah.
yeah. So those guys in media, Earl Graves, Bob Johnson, and God, my mind is just the publisher of Ebony. Oh God, I can't think of his name, but those are the people. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, two of the three are no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but those would have been, oh my God, just to be able to meet those guys and talk to them. But one of the things I can say, I have been blessed to a lot of dreams and a lot of people I wanted to meet. I've been able to meet and I've been
All
able to
right.
talk to. I can go. I mean, I remember the night I met Whitney Houston. It
Wow.
was, it was, I had got a FedEx invitation to a listening party for what was the movie? The
The
movie she
bodyguard?
did with Angela. Not that one.
Oh, Waiting to Excel.
Waiting to Exhale.
Wow,
And
that's such an iconic
and
film.
yeah, it was, and I got a personal invitation from Clive Davis.
Oh,
Fed
wow.
overnight. I got there, and it was a trip because meeting Whitney Houston, I know figure she had on this red dress and she was Whitney Houston. She looked like Whitney Houston.
Right.
But
Wow.
when you talk to her, that ain't the Whitney Houston. that when they say Whitney Houston was hood, Whitney Houston was hood.
Oh, wow.
They
Wow.
had her. She was this glamour queen,
Hmm.
but Whitney Houston was hood, and that was when her and Bobby Brown was together.
Right.
And when I talked to her, I said, "Look, I said if Bobby Brown is hitting her, she hitting him back." Whitney, I mean, she was,
Wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and,
Well,
and,
you,
and it was funny because let me just get this last thought out while it's in my head.
okay.
Somebody else that was there that was just the opposite of their personality, and that was Tupac. He was there,
Wow.
and this was one of the most polite dudes I ever met. He was nothing, absolutely nothing. And then people said, I would meet people that knew him, and they said, well, that's how he was. He knew how to be
Hmm.
professional, and he knew how to be street, and the
Hmm.
street just. But the thing is, when and I know we recording this, but it just is what it is. You know, he was there with Faith Evans,
Mm.
and it was supposedly nothing going on between them. But I'm not speaking ill of Tupac, but
Hmm.
he was there. Faith Evans was there, and
Wow.
I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Well, that
But
must have been some party. I mean, you're meeting all these celebrities. I need to come hang with you.
it,
See who we
and
can meet.
it was I man, I can go. Oh my God! It to me
That,
now that stuff is like it's not even exciting anymore. You know,
yeah.
I would take my niece with me every year to the American Music Awards,
Oh,
and we
wow.
sitting on the floor, and she would just, I told her she was the best date I ever had. The first year we went, she was what, 11 or 12. And so
Oh.
after I said, well, then Jasmine. I'm like, Jazz, where you can go anywhere. I'll take you anywhere you want to go to get something to eat. We can go to a restaurant or whatever.
Hmm.
She said, go to McDonald's.
Oh,
Like,
well,
cool. We go.
that makes sense. Well, listen, after COVID, if you still have access to the awards, niece is going to have to move out the way because
Oh
Kandi would
yeah,
like
you
to
got
go.
you got
I would love to go
next,
to an award show. I would.
next,
And
next,
since we're
next
putting everything
November
out in the universe, yeah.
we will be there. When the COVID is over with, I mean, oh God, let me tell you, you get me started, Kandi, and then these things just start coming back to. Hey, one
This
guy
is
have to really.
awesome. I mean, the other show I mentioned that I wanted to interview Calvin Ridley, and then D Rob's on the show, and he knows Calvin, and he says, "Oh, I'll see what I can do." Okay, well, I'm a Beyonce fan, so let me put that out there too. That one
I,
day I can meet and chat with her. Shout out to the Beehive. So this is awesome. I know you've got stories for days.
I'm telling you, it is so, and I really have. I can't think of anybody that I want to interview outside of Halle Berry, and I was this close to having her at the Los Angeles Black Business Expo. And if you watched last week's show, you hear me talk about my involvement with that.
Yeah.
But I remember one year at the American Music Awards, and I'm sitting we in our seat, and Suge Knight was it was a year he was trying to
Wow.
get the yeah Suge and you really have to see this stuff to believe it because Suge everywhere he went he had all of these guys with him
Mm.
and so it was a bunch of guys with him that night. Now, mind you, if you have to buy the tickets to the American Music Awards at that
Hmm.
time, they were like $750
Oh,
a piece.
wow.
And so Suge got like 10, 15 guys with him. So now this year, that year, I did have a legitimate date with me. So I tell her,
Okay.
I said, but we're sitting in this sea of white folks. And so I tell her, I said, watch this. I'm gonna scare these people. So Suge is coming up the aisle, and I said, "Hey Suge, how you doing?" He does. He said, "JT, how you doing, baby?" So he reaches over,
Oh,
and Suge
wow.
massive, and is
He's a
shake his
big
hand,
dude.
and he said, "You having a good time?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Where you going?" He said, "I got to get out of here. They tripping." I said, "All right." He said, "You stay good, JT." I said, "You too, Suge." And so now every time when Suge is talking to somebody, these other guys, they not smiling, they
Oh,
not
I believe
friendly, or nothing.
it.
They like, who are you? So anyway, they go up the aisle. So white lady sitting next to me, she said, "Excuse me, was that death row guy?"
Oh,
And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh my God, he scares me."
aw.
But
Stories for
he
days.
he was very, very, very intimidating.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you know, but anyway, that's a little bit about me. I got
Wow.
stories,
Story. Well,
but
I'm here for it. We can hear story time every ETW. So make sure you tune in, subscribe to Expect to Win TV, check out the Expect to Win Experience TV show, and hit us up on social media, Expect to Win Show. Now, we wanted to mention about LaMelo Ball, right? And his deal
right,
with
right,
Puma.
right,
That's happened here
right.
recently in sports.
Yeah, yeah. That's what that was this week was the NBA draft, and
Hmm.
uh, even though he wasn't the number one draft pick, he's probably getting the most attention,
Yeah.
and mainly because of his brother Alonzo, and probably more so his dad LeVar.
Hmm.
And it was interesting because I was watching, and I want to give a shout out to Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay. I love his show, and he had LeVar Barr on, and I'm actually going to try to get him on our show.
Okay, we
And
love that.
and he was telling LeVar Ball, LeVar Ball, you threw that challenge out there to Michael Jordan, and now he's got your son. you know
Uh-oh.
so, yeah, so it was it was really interesting to hear his response. But yeah, let me ask you this, Candy. LaMelo Ball signed a $100 million deal with Puma. Do
Wow.
you think any athlete is worth $100 million?
Honestly, I would say yes. It's a lot of money, but when you think about how lucrative the sports industry is and how much of an impact these athletes have, not only on brand placement, what you can just wear a certain brand, and the
Yeah,
little kids who are seeing you play, who look up to you, oh, I want to go get this shirt because LaMelo's wearing it. So when you think about the contracts that these basketball players get and the endorsements, it's absolutely worth it. I mean, it's a big, lucrative industry. Yeah.
I have to agree with you. Uh, Probably for a different reason. I look at it like they're, they're making $1 billion off of you. So, and really, one of the things I think we'll probably explore in future episodes of how in 2023 college athletes will be able to make money off of their likeness,
As I think
which
they should.
they should have been doing that anyway.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. If you can get 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, like some
Yeah.
baseball, get him
Yeah.
down. You should, because those owners, if they're giving you $100 million, that means that they're making at least 500 million off of you and off of your likeness. So
Yeah. It's
I
really
agree.
good.
I like to give a shout out to the Ball family, to LeVar Ball. We're gonna get this to you some kind of way. We want to have you on the show, coaching
Yeah,
playing.
absolutely. Yeah,
Love to get Willow, and I've already reached out to Puma. So we're gonna see what happens. But
that would be
the
awesome.
big thing was the NBA draft, and I love watching it because I love seeing these young men's lives change.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. It's so exciting to see them get so excited and to see their families, so excited for them. And for a lot of these guys, they work really hard. And so to see that dream realized in that moment, like some of the athletes cry, and I understand it's such a big moment. It's like all this hard work is paid off and I'm here. So shout out to
right, right.
the new draft picks coming in.
Who is your favorite NBA player, Candy?
I'm more of a football girl, I will say. So I do like LeBron, not only because he's a great athlete on the court, but because of the issues that he stands behind outside of the court. And he's been a big voice on Black Lives Matter, on fair treatment, police brutality. And so I can respect that for sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm a huge LeBron fan. I caught so much heat when he was with Cleveland because I kept telling people he's coming to LA. He's coming to LA. And they're like, you're not a real Laker fan no more.
Hmm.
I said, but I'm a Laker fan and a LeBron fan. I just
Yeah,
always admired this brother. And people had to bow down and say, because two
yeah,
years before he came, I said he was coming.
yeah. And
And
look how it worked out. And he's done great with LA.
yeah, yeah, he really is, and this is the place to be. Um, and he knows that. You know,
Yeah,
uh, I think that having him, him and AD on the Lakers, and then some of the trades that they've made, uh, the Lakers are going to be
hmm.
brutal
Oh,
next
this
year.
new
So
season, yeah, this new season is going to be good. I know a lot of people were saying, "Gosh, they just finished the season and they're starting already up in December." So it's going to be a
yeah,
good season. I look forward to it. I really look forward to when COVID kind of clears up, so we can attend, some games and check them
right,
out.
right. But you know what, Candy? If I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for well over 20 years. But
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a desire. I haven't had a desire to work a 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
in years. But if I could work a 9 to 5 for the NBA, I would love to work. I would love to work in the NBA marketing department.
Oh
They
yes.
how to they have business over at the NBA, because even by, I don't know if you know this or not, but the reason they were pushing to start the season before Christmas,
Hmm.
because they guaranteed the networks 72 games.
Oh, okay.
So in order for them to have 72 games, they had to start before Christmas. If they didn't, they were going to lose $1 billion.
Oh wow. Wow.
So that's why they're starting so fast.
Hmm.
It's a business decision, and it only
Of
made sense.
course.
And they sat with the players and said, "Look, no, some of you guys are tired, but we talking $1 billion."
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was, I would love to work for the NBA,
That'd be
NBA or the
awesome.
Lakers. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
It's definitely an
incredible.
empire. Definitely
So,
an empire.
well, speaking of empires, we building one here. Expect to
Absolutely.
win.
Expect
We
to
we
win.
are
That's
building
right.
expect to win empires. So hopefully somebody will be saying, "I want to go work for James and Candy."
That's
You know,
right.
we're
We
gonna
be
work
great
together
bosses.
to pick the win. Yes, yes, we will. Yes, we will. So I think that's all I have for tonight, Candy.
Yeah.
I can tell you stories all night, but I'll save for other episodes.
Yeah. Each week.
I
We
got,
look forward to it.
I got a story about Magic Johnson.
Oh.
When I met him, first up, I met him and Al Green. Oh my God,
Oh,
that was
wow.
that was
Well, I look
incredible.
forward to it. All right. Well, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe. Expect to Win TV. Check us out on social media at Expect to Win Show. That's Instagram and Twitter. You can find us on Facebook as well. The Expect to Win Experience TV show. And you can find me on social media at Candy on Air. I'm Candy Knight. Over to Coach.
And you can find me at J Thomas Luxury. Just follow the beautiful art, and it'll lead you right to me.
All
So, and
right.
I'm Coach Thomas.
All right. And this is ETW with Coach and Candy following up our amazing show. Check it out, and we'll chat with you again after our next show.
Dun,
All
dun,
right.
dun,
Have a
dun.
good night.
Good night.